Today's a 7-hour swim. The conditions from a hearing perspective, they sound pretty full on, some of the waves go, but I think they're spilling waves, which sounds make it more worse than what it actually is. We've got a 7-hour swim off Shelly Beach. That's a protected beach, and we've got most of the team here today. We've got Alexi, we've got Phil, Joe, and Sarah's joining us as well. Start about probably 8 o'clock, so a nice 7 hours, and finish in the afternoon and head over to Little Burgers to try and replenish. Obviously, in the conditions of what we're down here at Shelly Beach, it's about 16.8, so relatively almost identical to hopefully, fingers crossed, what it's going to be on the channel when it's a bit more summer in Europe. The weather forecast might warm the water up a bit more than what it is at 15 degrees. 28 days is amazingly close. I remember the days when I was counting down from 200 odd, and even when 150 seemed very close, but now 28 days is, 4 weeks today. Potentially we could be in the water already, because at times they start you at 2 in the morning. So for me, I could sit here worrying and I'll become nervous about it or anxious about it, but that's not going to get me any closer. I'm living in the moment. I think that's funny enough, that's why my chocolate stores are called chocolate moments, because it's about living in the moment, not thinking about the past, not thinking about the future. It's about thinking about the present and being there. And today, out there in the ocean for 7 hours, it's about living in that moment, not thinking about what may lay ahead in that next hour or what we've gone through, but what's happening right now, right here.
He's much more relaxed in the water. I know he's feeling the cold, but we all are. But he feels better in the water for me compared to, say, 6 months ago when we were swimming together. The improvement is out of sight, and it's it's never been about towing, but I sometimes actually feel now that there's nobody there, and I actually look back and say, well, is he still there? And he is. He's always there, because he can't go anywhere. But it sometimes feels that there's no one behind me, which is that's how we want it to be, so that he's actually swimming at my pace, which is good. He's doing all right. It's cold. I was trying to head out a little bit more towards Manly than Joe had sort of done some small loops in the middle of the bay. So I thought I'd got a bit adventurous and go out a little bit, but it's too rough. He actually pulled me up. It's the first time he's ever done that. Pulled me up and said, hey, it's a bit rough out here. He said, is it getting rougher? He looks better in the water. I don't tend to watch him too much, but when I do have a look back, he looks so much better in the water. He's lost that silly left arm that used to be like just waving, saluting or whatever. He doesn't seem to be doing that anymore, and he seems to be getting more pull through the water. And I said to him a couple of weeks ago at the dam, I said, the honest truth, when I first started swimming with you, it was like dragging a bag of potatoes. I said, I don't feel that anymore. Out there, I'm doing my own thing and getting my stroke right. Okay, occasionally we hit each other's hand or whatever, but I don't feel that we have to swim in rhythm. But when I get myself right, he seems to be right, and we get that good tension on the tether, and it feels good. We're swimming at the same pace now, where before maybe it felt like we were dragging him a little bit, and I'm not dragging him anymore. His pace is fast enough, I think, now, and it's just cold water. He's good with the cold water, and his mental attitude's fine. If it's anything like it was today, not a problem in the world.
And I think it was pretty good training for the channel, because it was challenging conditions, and I think it was fair to call it a tiny bit early. It was getting a bit ridiculous out there, so they did really well. I have the luxury of hopping out and warming up, whereas G's in there for the full slog, so you get cold. I think he's just a tough bugger. He's doing really well. We're getting down to the pointy end of everything, and it's just coming together, so I've got no doubt he can do it.
He has to have a lot of trust in me, and days like today, it's really understanding my responsibility in not taking him too close to a boat, not taking him into a surfer, not taking him into the rocks where he can't avoid them. I'm amazed that he'll just put his life in my hands without... he has that full trust that I will look after him in the water, and I feel honoured, really, that he wanted me as part of the team.
We're born with some innate fears in our lives, and there's a learned fear of failure, which we at times can grow up with, and the fear of success, or a whole range of different fears which we learn throughout our lives. And for me, I could sit here and think, well, my guides are going to run me into a half-open door, or a post, or a tree, or a parked car. Well, if I lived in that fear, then I wouldn't be living my entire life. So it's about living in that moment, which we have right now, which is critically important. And I think for me, as a young kid, I had to learn that as well, because realistically, if I sat in the house and thought, well, I can't go and do sport because I might run into something, well, I would have never achieved what I've achieved today.